Hey everybody, welcome back for another deep dive with us.
Always exciting to be back.
And today we're talking about a topic that I think a lot of our listeners are interested in.
Definitely.
And especially with how volatile the commercial real estate market is right now.
For sure.
I'm talking about SBA 504 loans, and we've got a great source.
Yeah, this is going to be a good one.
An article by Michael Linton on ChicagoDealFlow.com.
He really knows his stuff.
He's been a commercial real estate broker here in Chicago for like almost 40 years. So
Almost 4 decades. Yeah,
he's seen it all.
exactly.
So, and his team, the Chicago Deal Flow team, are experts on this.
They really are.
So we're going to be pulling a lot of our insights today from his article and kind of just dissecting this topic.
I'm excited.
Me
Wow.
too.
Let's dive in.
Yeah. So just real quick, for anyone who maybe isn't familiar with SBA 504 loans,
Sure.
what are they?
So it's basically a government-backed loan program
Okay.
specifically designed to help small businesses either purchase or refinance commercial real estate.
Gotcha. And that refinance part is interesting to me right now, given how interest rates have
Oh, absolutely.
been fluctuating so much.
Yeah, that's a huge factor.
And we all know what's happening with the commercial real estate market.
For sure.
And so these SBA 504 loans offer some benefits
Mm-hmm.
that make them particularly attractive right now, like long-term fixed rates, which is something we can all get behind these days,
Absolutely.
especially with the way things have been going. Low down payments
Yeah, that's a big one.
and this potential for job creation, which is always good for everyone.
Definitely a win-win.
So let's talk about Chicago specifically, because this is where Michael Linton is based. This is where his business is.
Right.
And SBA 504 loans, I mean, they're a nationwide program, but why are they so significant in Chicago's market?
Well, I think one of the biggest things is that Chicago is such a diverse market.
Huge city, yeah.
You know, tons of different industries, different neighborhoods,
Yeah.
so many small businesses, and SBA 504 loans really open up doors for these businesses to actually own their property instead of being stuck in these, endless rent cycles.
Right, and it's so much more affordable, too, with that low down payment that we were talking about.
Yeah, I mean, think about it, 10% down versus what you would need for a conventional loan. It's just a huge difference.
Yeah, you're preserving so much more of your capital that way to actually put back into the business.
Exactly, and that's especially important in a market as competitive as Chicago.
Absolutely, and I think this is why Michael Linton and his team are so passionate about these loans,
Stick to bread and butter.
because they see firsthand how they can empower businesses and contribute to, like the whole local economy.
It's really cool to see.
Yeah, and you mentioned the challenges in the commercial real estate market right now, and I did come across a pretty startling statistic when I was reading through Michael Linton's article.
What was that?
U.S. banks reported over $22 billion
Wow.
in non-accrual loans
That's a lot.
in the first quarter of 2024.
That's scary.
That's a lot of money, and so that really
That's
emphasizes
like-
just how volatile things are.
Yeah.
No doubt.
And that's why I think these SBA 504 loans are even more intriguing now, because they seem to offer a level of stability and opportunity within that potentially volatile landscape.
Absolutely, and it's not just about surviving, it's about thriving.
Yeah.
And SBA 504 loans can help with that.
Okay, so I'm sold on the why. I get why these loans are important, why they're particularly relevant right now, but let's break down the how.
Yeah, let's get into the nitty-gritty.
Because you mentioned earlier this unique structure.
Right.
It's not just going to your bank and getting a loan.
It's a little more involved, but in a good way.
Okay, so walk me through it.
So with an SBA 504 loan, you've got 3 key players.
Okay.
The bank, the CDC, which stands for Certified Development Company,
Okay.
and of course the borrower, which is the business owner.
Gotcha.
So the bank, they come in and provide 50% of the financing,
Okay, half the loan.
right? Then the CDC, which is this nonprofit organization backed by the Small Business Administration,
Okay.
they come in with 40%.
Wow, so they're really stepping up. Yeah, they are, and that leaves just 10% for the borrower to come up with as a down payment.
So this is what makes it so much more attainable.
Exactly.
Okay, so 10% down, that's
Huge.
incredible, especially when you're talking about commercial real estate in a city like Chicago,
Oh, absolutely.
where property values are through the roof.
It's a game changer.
So that lower barrier to entry,
Yeah.
that can really be the make or break for a lot of small businesses.
It's the difference between, renting forever and actually building equity.
Yeah, and having that sense of ownership
Right.
over your space.
Absolutely, and that pride that comes with it.
And so what kinds of properties are we talking about here? Are these limited to certain types of businesses or?
No, not at all.
Okay.
That's the beauty of it. I mean, we're talking everything from office buildings to industrial facilities, retail spaces,
Wow.
even mixed-use properties.
Look, those live workspaces that are
So
popular now.
Yeah, those are great examples.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And so this benefits such a wide range of businesses.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Michael specifically mentions, thriving areas in his article like Naperville, Schaumburg, Oak Brook.
Yeah, those are like major suburban hubs.
Exactly.
And so this is reaching businesses all across the Chicago area.
It really is. It's not just the downtown thing.
And I love that you mentioned mixed-use properties because I think we're seeing such a trend
Yeah.
toward adaptive reuse right now.
Big time.
Like especially in areas like the West Loop, where those old industrial buildings are being
It's
transformed
amazing what they're doing.
into these amazing spaces.
Right.
And I even see it happening out in the suburbs, too.
Yeah, for sure.
Like in Aurora, for example.
Yeah, great example.
They're turning these former manufacturing sites into these really cool mixed-use developments.
Yeah, it's bringing new life into these areas.
Yeah, and so these SBA 504 loans could be really instrumental in making those projects happen.
Absolutely. I mean, the financing is often a huge hurdle.
Yeah.
And these loans really bridge that gap.
Okay, so we've talked about the types of properties,
Right.
the low down payment,
Uh-huh.
but let's talk about the loan terms themselves.
Yeah, because that's another huge advantage.
Because we did mention fixed interest rates.
Right. And that's something that a lot of business owners are craving right now.
Yeah, because you can actually budget.
You can plan.
You can predict
Exactly.
what your expenses are going to be.
No surprises.
And how long are we talking about here for the terms?
So you can get terms up to 25 years.
25 years with a fixed interest rate that is music to my ears.
I know, right?
That's amazing.
Especially when you compare it to conventional loans where you might be facing a balloon payment.
Oh, don't even get me started on balloon payments.
Yeah. Nobody likes those.
So this is just like peace of mind.
It is. It's stability, long-term stability.
I love it.
And that's what you need in this market.
Okay, so I'm trying to put myself in the shoes of a small business owner here in Chicago. I'm picturing myself. I've got this great idea for a business. Maybe it's that boutique clothing store
Sure,
that we
yeah.
were talking about earlier.
In Wicker Park.
Yeah, exactly, in Wicker Park.
Love it.
And I found this amazing mixed-use building,
Perfect.
perfect location,
Uh-huh.
but the price tag is a little intimidating.
Right.
So walk me through how an SBA 504 loan would actually work in this scenario.
Okay, so let's say this building is going for $2 million,
Okay,
which is pretty realistic for Wicker Park these days.
it is.
So with a conventional loan, you're looking at a down payment of at least 20%, probably more.
That's $400,000.
Right, exactly. That's a lot of cash.
That's a lot of cash.
But with an SBA 504 loan, that down payment drops to just 10%.
$200,000.
$200,000. So you've already saved yourself $200,000 right off the bat.
And that's money that I can put towards inventory,
Exactly.
hiring staff,
Marketing.
all the things that you need to actually get the business up and running.
Yeah, that's the key.
So where does the rest of that money come from?
So the bank would come in with a $1 million loan,
Right.
50% of the purchase price, and then the CDC would provide the other $800,000.
That's amazing.
All backed by the SBA.
So I, as the business owner, I only have to come up with that $200,000,
That's it.
and I'm able to secure this property
Exactly.
and start building my business.
And the best part is you're not just making rent payments, you're building equity.
Right.
You're investing in your future.
Does this sound like something that could work for you, listener?
I think so.
Right.
It's pretty amazing.
So we've painted this beautiful picture,
Yeah.
but let's be real.
Okay.
There are some eligibility criteria.
Of course.
So who can actually qualify for one of these loans?
So first and foremost, you have to be a for-profit business.
Okay, makes sense.
Nonprofits, unfortunately, don't qualify.
Right.
And then there are specific net worth and income requirements.
Okay, and those are spelled out in Michael Linton's article if you want to get into the specifics.
He breaks it all down.
And I remember reading something about needing to actually occupy a certain percentage of the property.
That's right. So you have to occupy at least 51%.
Okay, so you can't just buy a building and lease it all out.
Nope. You got to be using it for your own business operations.
Right. It's about actually having a physical presence
Exactly.
and contributing to the community.
And if you're building a new property, that occupancy requirement bumps up to 60%.
Oh, interesting.
So
Great.
slightly higher for new construction.
Oh, okay. So it sounds like they really want to make sure that these loans are being used to support businesses that are actively operating and growing.
It's not about speculation. It's about real economic activity.
Right. And I bet there's a job creation element too.
Oh, yeah. Typically, you're expected to create or retain one job for every $75,000 borrowed,
Okay.
which in a city like Chicago, where businesses are constantly growing and expanding,
Yeah.
that usually happens naturally anyway.
Yeah. It seems like it's kind of built into the ecosystem.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's say I'm convinced. I'm ready to explore this SBA 504 loan option.
Awesome.
Where do I even begin?
Well, Michael emphasizes the importance of working with local CDCs.
Okay.
They're really your partners in this process. They
Uh-huh.
know the ins and outs of the program. They have relationships with lenders.
So they're kind of like my guides through this whole process.
Exactly. They're your Sherpas.
I love it. My SBA 504 Sherpas.
Yeah, they'll help you navigate the terrain.
And speaking of terrain, what kind of documentation should I be prepared to gather?
So you'll need a strong business plan,
Okay.
detailed financials,
Of course.
projections for the future.
Gotcha.
Lenders want to see that you've done your homework,
Makes sense.
that your business is viable,
Yeah.
and that you have a plan for success.
And that's where a team like Michael Linton's comes in.
Absolutely. They can help you put together a winning application.
Because this isn't something you want to just throw together.
No, you need to be thorough and professional.
This is my future we're talking about.
Exactly.
This is my business.
And they'll make sure you're presenting your best self.
So it sounds like an SBA 504 loan could be a really powerful tool
It is.
for small businesses here in Chicago,
It really is.
especially in today's market.
Absolutely.
But it's important to have the right guidance
Yeah. You don't want to go it alone.
and the right support.
And that's where experts like Michael Linton and his team come in.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here,
We have.
but I'm curious about the bigger picture.
Okay.
How do these SBA 504 loans actually impact the Chicago economy as a whole?
That's a great question and one that we'll definitely dive into. So we're talking about the impact of SBA 504 loans on the Chicago economy.
Exactly, like zoom out a little bit.
The bigger picture.
Yeah, because we've talked about how it can benefit individual businesses.
Right.
But I imagine there's a ripple effect.
Oh, absolutely.
So what does that look like?
Well, think about it this way. When a business secures an SBA 504 loan and they're able to purchase a property, they're often expanding.
Right, more space, more
employees. More employees, exactly.
more production.
Yeah, they're growing.
And that growth creates jobs.
Okay.
And those new jobs mean more people have money to spend in the local economy,
Right.
which supports other
Yeah,
businesses.
it's like this chain reaction.
Exactly. It's a multiplier effect.
I love that. And it's not just about the direct jobs created by that initial business.
Right.
It's also about the indirect jobs.
Yeah. All the supporting industries,
The suppliers, the vendors, the contractors.
the whole ecosystem.
Yeah, and then those people have more money to spend, and it just keeps going.
It's a beautiful thing.
It's like a snowball effect.
I like that analogy.
And so we're seeing this economic activity spread throughout different sectors, throughout different neighborhoods.
Absolutely. I mean, think about a manufacturing company
Okay.
that's outgrown their current space.
Right. They need more room to make all their stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So they secure an SBA 504 loan,
Okay.
and they're able to purchase a larger facility, maybe out in the suburbs.
Oh, like Elk Grove Village.
Perfect example. Yeah, huge industrial area.
And suddenly they've got more space to ramp up production, hire more workers.
And they're putting more money back into the local economy.
And it doesn't stop there. I mean, think about the impact on the supply chain.
Oh, right.
All those businesses that provide raw materials, equipment, transportation, they're all benefiting from this one company's expansion.
So it's like this ripple effect.
It really is. And it's not just manufacturing. I mean, think about tech startups.
Okay, yeah, we've got a lot of those in Chicago.
Tons. And they're often concentrated in areas like River North.
Yeah, that's like the tech hub.
Exactly. So these startups, they need cool office spaces.
Right.
To attract talent.
To foster creativity, and SBA 504 loans can help them get into those prime locations.
Without having to
Break the bank.
Yeah,
Because real estate in River North is not cheap.
it's not.
But with that lower down payment, they can secure a great space and still have capital left over to invest in R&D, marketing, hiring top talent.
So it's giving them a competitive edge.
And then those tech companies, they grow, they create jobs, they attract more investment.
And it just keeps building on itself.
It's amazing.
It is. And, we talked about adaptive reuse earlier.
Yeah, those old buildings getting new life.
Exactly. And SBA 504 loans are often a key piece of the puzzle for those projects.
Okay, so how's
Well, let's say you've got a developer who wants to transform an old warehouse
Okay.
into a mixed-use development with shops, restaurants, apartments.
Sounds like the West Loop.
Exactly. Or maybe even a suburb like Aurora or Joliet.
Yeah.
These loans can provide the financing they need to acquire and renovate these properties.
Which can be a huge undertaking.
It can, and it's often less expensive than new construction.
Oh, interesting.
So it's a win-win.
Yeah, you're preserving these historic buildings,
Right.
bringing new life to them.
And you're creating these vibrant spaces that attract people and businesses.
It's like the best of both worlds.
It is, and it's a great example of how SBA 504 loans can really contribute to the overall revitalization of neighborhoods.
So we're not just talking about economic impact, we're talking about social impact.
Exactly. It's about creating communities.
Places where people want to live, work, and play.
And that's what makes Chicago so special.
It's that energy, that sense of possibility.
Yeah,
And SBA 504 loans are playing a role in that.
absolutely.
So we've painted this really positive picture.
Yeah.
But let's be real for a minute.
Okay.
There are challenges.
There are always challenges.
What are some of the things that people should be aware of?
Well, one of the biggest ones is the eligibility criteria.
Right. Not everyone qualifies.
Exactly. You need to meet certain size standards based on your net worth and income.
Okay.
And you have to demonstrate that you'll be using the property for eligible purposes.
Right. You can't just buy a vacation home with an SBO 504 loan.
No, you got to be using it for your business.
Okay. And then what about the application process?
It can be pretty intense.
Oh, I bet.
You need a lot of documentation.
Like what?
A detailed business plan,
Okay.
financial statements, projections, and you need to be prepared to answer a lot of questions.
So this is where having those SBA 504 Sherpas really comes in handy.
Absolutely. They can guide you through the whole process.
Make sure you're dotting your I's and crossing your T's.
Exactly. And that you're presenting a strong case to the lenders.
So it sounds like it's a lot of work.
It is, but it can be so worth it.
Right. Because the potential rewards are huge.
They are. You're talking about owning your own property building equity in your business.
And contributing to the growth of the city.
Exactly. It's a win-win-win.
Okay. So I'm inspired,
Good.
but I also realize that this is a serious decision.
It is.
It's not something to be taken lightly.
Absolutely.
So what would you say to someone who's listening to this right now and thinking, okay, this sounds interesting, but I'm not sure if it's right for me?
I would say do your research.
Okay.
Talk to experts.
Like Michael Linton.
Exactly. He and his team can provide personalized guidance.
Yeah.
They can help you assess whether an SBA 504 loan is a good fit for your specific situation
So it's all about gathering information.
and making an informed decision.
And we've given you a lot to think about today.
We have.
But I feel like there's still one piece of the puzzle missing.
What's that?
We've talked about the impact on individual businesses, the impact on neighborhoods.
Right.
But what about the overall impact on the Chicago economy, like as a whole?
Yes, the macroeconomic perspective.
So we're talking about the macro impact of SBA 504 loans on the Chicago economy.
Exactly, the big picture stuff.
Yeah. How does this all tie together?
Well, when you have all these individual businesses thriving,
Right.
thanks in part to SBA 504 loans,
Uh-huh.
it creates this ripple effect that spreads throughout the entire city.
Okay. I'm listening.
So you've got increased economic activity,
Okay.
more jobs, more tax revenue,
Right.
more investment flowing into different sectors.
And that attracts more businesses?
Exactly.
Yeah, more talent.
It creates this upward spiral,
I like it.
and that benefits everyone.
So it's not just about those individual businesses getting a leg up. It's about creating a stronger, more resilient economy for the entire city.
Absolutely.
And that makes Chicago a more attractive place to live, work, and do business.
Exactly. It's all connected.
And, I think back to that statistic that we mentioned earlier.
The $22 billion in non-accrual loans.
Yeah.
That's a scary number.
It is.
But it also highlights the need for programs like SBA 504 loans.
Okay.
Because they're providing stability, they're promoting growth.
And they're helping to mitigate risk
Exactly.
in a market that can be very unpredictable.
That's the key.
So it's almost like a counterbalance
In a way, yeah.
to some of the volatility that we're seeing.
It's a source of strength.
And, one of the things that really struck me when I was reading Michael Linton's article
Yeah.
is that he talks about this sense of community
Oh, yeah.
that SBA 504 loans can foster.
It's not just about the money.
Right.
It's about empowering people
Yeah.
to achieve their dreams.
To build something of their own
Like-
and to contribute to the growth of their city.
It's about creating opportunities.
And I think that's really what makes Chicago so special.
It's that entrepreneurial spirit.
It's that can-do attitude.
And SBA 504 loans are fueling that.
So if you're a small business owner in Chicago,
Or thinking about becoming one,
this could be your ticket to success.
it really could.
And it's not just about your own success.
Right.
It's about contributing to the success of the entire city.
We're all in this together.
So to wrap things up,
Yeah.
we've learned a lot today about SBA 504 loans.
We have
We've explored the benefits, the challenges, the impact,
the big picture.
the big picture,
It's been a great deep dive.
and we really appreciate Michael Linton and the Chicago Deal Flow team
You're the experts.
for sharing their expertise with us.
Absolutely.
So if you're interested in learning more,
Yeah, check out their website.
chicagodealflow.com.
They've got tons of great information.
They do, and they can provide personalized guidance.
They're the best.
So thank you for joining us for another deep dive.
It's been a pleasure.
We'll see you next time.